Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is that time again as we broadcast live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Steve Sparky Fifer with you. Charlie Usen back there in the studios in beautiful, wonderful Hales Corners, Wisconsin. How are we doing today, Charlie Usen? How was the weekend?
It was long. It was tiring, but I'm here to talk about the fun stuff, the sports side of things. That's all I need.
You talked a lot about wrestling in the last show. I'm pretty sure that's the most I've heard you talk about wrestling to this point.
I think so, yeah. Mitch had me go really in depth with what I was seeing out there, the whole Seth Rollins coming out of nowhere with the injury. I thought that was pretty surprising, too, when I heard about that. I was not somebody who watched the SummerSlam, but now I may have to go back and watch it, seeing and hearing how excited Mitch was about it.
Yeah, it was great. I don't quite understand it, but whatever. As long as people are excited about it. Yeah, as long as people are excited about it, that's all that really matters. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. Obviously, the Brewers do their thing and was very, very impressive by the onslaught of runs they did against the Washington Nationals this weekend. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Packers Family Night. We'll talk with Kurt Hogue of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. He'll join us at 4:20 today, Brewers beat writer. Plus, he also had the news last night, I believe, first on Made and Pena coming up from the Mudcats up to the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. The very first text message I got was Tommy Wirtz, who said, "When are we going?" And I think that is a fair question. Maybe we'll have a leadoff show on site in Appleton at the Timber Rattlers before a Brewers game, and he gets maybe Made and Pena both on the show with Tommy Wirtz. Are they using interpreters down there? I would assume they are, but I don't know if they are or not. Do you have any idea?
I would think so.
You would think so too?
I feel like if you have these players as highly ranked as you do in your system, then I would hope you would want to have as much sound coming from them. You would want to have as much different clips coming from these guys as possible. So with that, you need an interpreter.
You know, that's the other thing, too, when we talk about, doing these interviews. That is why Sophia Minnaert is so valuable to the Brewers, right, and FanDuel Sports Wisconsin. The fact that she's able to speak Spanish and do these interviews already at the MLB level. Because, again, with all due respect to everybody else, having an interpreter answering questions is not the same as having the player answer questions at this point. So we'll see if we can get that done. Tommy Wirtz maybe to a Timber Rattlers game with a Made and Pena interview on the leadoff show. Coming up also today, Charlie Sounds of the Day at 3:40. Things we missed at 4:40 as well. And Giannis, again, back in the news thanks to Shams Charania, who will just not let this story die. We'll talk about that coming up at 2:40 today. It will not go away. And I don't know where it's coming from. I have an idea of where all of this is coming from that Shams Charania continues to report about on Giannis. But we'll talk about that at 2:40. Let's start off talking about this Brewers. And are you believing in this Brewers offense? How much are you believing in this Brewers offense? It just absolutely exploded all over the Washington Nationals this weekend in a dominant sweep in D.C. Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. You can also make sure to reach out to us as well on social media. That is another good way to do it, is on social media by simply going to @TheFanMilwaukee on Twitter or on Facebook. And, of course, you can watch us on YouTube. That's right. We're streaming all of our local shows live now on YouTube. Just search The Fan Milwaukee. You can watch the Pack a Day radio show weekday mornings from 8 to 9. You can watch the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis, brought to you by Verizon, weekdays from 9 to 11 on YouTube. I also can watch this show from 2 to 5 with myself, Steve Sparky Fifer, out here at the Wisconsin State Fair, right by the Expo building, looking at the Milk House. I came back out here Friday night and got some more root beer milk with the family, Charlie, at the Milk House, and it is chocolate cherry. Somebody told me sherry, but that's not what it is. It is chocolate cherry is the milk that they have out here at the Milk House. And the root beer milk is amazing. It is $1, so it is an increase in price from when it was the Bucks, when I think originally it was like a quarter back in the day. Then it was 50 cents. But you get way more milk in the cup than you did back then, too. So just a little side note there. Are you buying this Brewers offense right now at this point? Again, they put up stupid numbers over the weekend, and we all understand that they put up stupid numbers. And I'm not saying the numbers they put up necessarily are sustainable numbers where you expect to do this every time. But if you look at this Brewers team, since June 19th, they have the best record in baseball at 28-9, which is saying something for sure about where this Brewers team is at right now and how well they've been playing. That All-Star break, which I guess I was concerned about going into this, really didn't do anything to this Brewers team. They came out fresh and looking good since the All-Star break. The Brewers racked up 56 hits over their 3 games against the Nationals this weekend. It's the most hits by an NL team in a 3-game series since the Brooklyn Dodgers collected 57 hits against the Pirates June 23rd to the 25th in 1950. The pitching staff allowed 14 runs over that stretch, just 5 over the last 2 games. How about this one? I got all kinds of good stats. After 4 games, the Brewers' run differential was minus 32, 0-4. Since then, they are plus 151, best in baseball, 67-40 since that point, also best in baseball. How about this little nugget that I found? Again, social media is a wonderful place because so many people do so many different digging and looking at numbers and stats, and it makes everybody's job easier when you do this. This is from Yelich Was Robbed on Twitter, Charlie. This is a good one. 81% of the 47 runs the Brewers gave up to start the season were allowed by Connor Thomas, Nestor Cortez, Aaron Savali, Tyler Alexander, Joel Payams, Elvin Rodriguez, and Elvis Peguero. None of them currently on this active roster as we speak.
Makes sense. After hearing that that's the case, yeah, that logically makes sense.
But, I mean, if you think about it, if you go back in time to April, nobody would have guessed all of those guys would be off this team by the time we get to August. I think you probably would have guessed a couple of them would have been gone. But, I mean, that is 2, 4, 6, 7 pitchers that have been overhauled off of this roster. Now, Connor Thomas was hurt, but the rest of these guys just simply no longer with the baseball club, which is kind of mind-boggling when you think about the overhaul that you've had in pitching. And because you're so deep in pitching, it's okay, and you're able to, overcome that at the end of the day. I will say that I am not as convinced maybe as everybody else is that this is sustainable. But I think the longer it goes on, it's hard not to start to buy into this. One of the guys that nobody knew about coming into the year was Isaac Collins, National League Rookie of the Month, hitting .321 in July with a .411 on-base percentage and an .853 OPS. 25 hits to 11 walks in the month for Isaac Collins. I think we should all start to believe that Isaac Collins, at this point, Charlie, is the real deal.
I think so. The way he's played, not only offensively but defensively as well, he's been a really solid piece out there, especially in place of a Blake Perkins being out with that injury, a guy who's a Gold Glover last season. Isaac Collins has filled in and played that role really well. But bringing up Blake Perkins, now he's been pretty hot too. I think there's a lot of extra questions now that you guys got guys starting to get healthy again, but they're good questions to have.
They are good questions to have. And then you have Kurt Hogue, who will join us at 4:20. Put this nugget out this morning. The Brewers have the highest WRC plus in baseball since June 1st. Now, that's essentially runs created, plus just adds in the ballpark factor and so forth that goes along with it. So 100 is about average, to give you an idea. The Brewers are at 118, best in baseball since June 1st. Then the Mariners at 117, Seattle at 111, Boston 110. There are the Cubs, 5th at 109, Baltimore at 107, along with Detroit and the Yankees. Yankees scuffling here coming out of the All-Star break quite a bit. So that's been the talk of MLB Network all day today, is the struggling Yankees, people freaking out on the Yankees. The Brewers, on the other hand, playing really well. No Jacob Mizorowski. He goes to the IL. I heard Mitch Thunder Nellis earlier talking Thunder at the fair that he doesn't really buy into this being any big of a deal for Mizorowski. I agree. We said when they called up Mizorowski, there's going to have to be an innings limit on Jacob Mizorowski. at some point here. Then Adam McKelvey came out with a piece a couple weeks after that stating the number is probably going to be around 150 innings or so for Jacob Misiorowski before they're going to have to shut him down. He only pitched 97 innings last year. Misiorowski gets hit on a comebacker his last outing. Misiorowski pitched 3 more innings after that, I believe. He was fine. He got through it fine. Now, since then, we have a bruise, and now all of a sudden it's, oh, by the way, he's not going to be able to pitch. I think it was a very calculated move by the Milwaukee Brewers to save a couple of starts for Jacob Misiorowski. 15-day IL, he's out a couple of weeks, nothing to be overly concerned about. I know Cub fans are like, Misiorowski's on the IL, Man, settle down, man. There ain't nothing wrong with Jacob Misiorowski. He will be just fine. Misiorowski, Charlie, I believe you have that sound, talked in the clubhouse yesterday about the decision to essentially put him on the injured list and essentially have him miss a couple of starts. And to Misiorowski's credit, he has played this as well as you possibly can play. The idea of getting pulled when you're not tired and you want to continue to pitch, but they're monitoring your innings and your pitches, trying to keep you healthy, right? That's being done. Now you're getting put on the IL for a leg contusion. I said on Twitter when this happened, when people, Brewers fans were like, uh-oh. It's like, guys, if this was a playoff game, right, if this was going into Game 2 or Game 3 of a postseason game, Misiorowski would be starting and he'd be pitching. We're not to the point of this being some horrible injury that he can't pitch with. He could pitch with it, just like you hear all the time in the NBA or in the NFL. If this was a playoff game, he'd play. But since it's not, we're going to rest him and make sure we get him back to full health again. Here's Jacob Misiorowski yesterday.
Explain kind of what you were feeling after that last Cubs start and how it was affecting you.
Yeah, wasn't bouncing back as well as I was hoping. So, it's still a little sore from getting hit, but that's about it.
Did anything come up for you in your bullpen?
No, just that it was just sore. That was it.
And it was the line drive, not the plant and throw.
No, it was the line drive. Yeah, that got me on the shin, and wasn't fun.
How much pain? How severe do you think?
No,
it is.
Yeah, they put me on the 15-day, so nothing crazy. Be ready to go on the would be the Red Series or something like that.
It's retroactive
Reds or
July
Club.
31st,
Yeah,
so we're already a few days in.
Yeah,
So just the 15.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that something where having pain somewhere might make you change something elsewhere, and it's kind of safer to just let it heal all the way?
Yeah.
It was just an interview. I know it's not. You probably wanted to be able to get back out there today after your last start.
Yeah, I'm competitive. I want to play every game, so I don't think it. It sucks. It's not fun to sit on the bench, but at the same time, I don't want to go out there and not have my best stuff, and trying to win for the team. So, if the best is me sitting on the bench, then that's what we got to do.
How did you
All right,
feel
that's
it
enough.
affecting you?
There's Jacob Misiorowski talking yesterday about going on the 15-day IL for the Brewers, a young phenom pitcher. Again, this is nothing to be concerned about. He got hit on a line drive back at him his last outing. He pitched 3 more innings after that. Clearly, he was able to pitch with it. As I've stated before, if this was a playoff game, he's pitching. I don't think there's any reason to doubt that, but they have to protect his innings. And this has to be a calculated plan by the Milwaukee Brewers to watch him a little bit. We talked about this, too, in the past, about the idea about this Brewers offense, and are you believing in this Brewers offense and so forth. And we talk about Misiorowski being out. I don't know where the latest odds look like, Charlie, but you would have to think Isaac Collins, with his player of the month here, or rookie of the month here, has to be gaining some ground in that rookie of the year race at this point for the Milwaukee Brewers. And the more time Misiorowski misses, and the better Isaac Collins continues to play. And we've talked about Caleb Durbin, but he's not playing against righties anymore. That's a whole nother conversation I had with people on Twitter. Isaac Collins all of a sudden might have a talking point here, too. I don't know if anybody beats Nick Kurtz, though, with the Athletics, because he is playing really well.
So if we look at ESPN's award odds right now, this has been last updated this morning at 8:01 a.m., so pretty recent. The NL Rookie of the Year favorites, Drake Baldwin is still lead in that. Then Augustine Ramirez in third right now with plus 600 odds is Isaac Collins, followed by Jacob Mizorowski with plus 900 odds.
No Nick Kurtz in that
That's
for
in
the Athletics?
That's in the AL side. So that was just the
AL
NL.
rookie.
That's
Right. Just the NL. I got you. Yeah. I mean, that's fine. I mean, from a Brewers fan standpoint, you don't want any of our guys to necessarily win it and lose a year of control, so I get that.
Nick Kurtz is minus 6,000 on the AL side. The next best odds are 20-1 for Roman Anthony.
It's done. That's all done. You would see more frustrating about that. I had Nick Kurtz when they called him up for a week, and I bailed immediately after he struggled his first week up. I was like, I'm done, and I picked up Soderstrom instead, which he's been fine. I mean, he's been good. It's worked out okay. I didn't get completely burned by it, but I would have just sat with Kurtz. It probably would have worked out much better. Are you believing in this Brewers offense? That's what I want to know from you. Do you think this is an offense that can be that offense through the rest of the year into the postseason? Nicolay Law Fan Talk, text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250 as we broadcast live from the Wisconsin State Fair right here at the Expo Building looking at the Milk House. Charlie, are you buying into this Brewers offense right now?
I think so. I think this has kind of been something that I've grown more and more excited about as we've seen them just stay hot from before the All-Star break to afterwards. I mean, this is something where you just see the contact starting to result in runs scored as well. We saw that contact at the beginning of the year, and we talked about how exciting it is that they're one of the better contact teams in the league, but it just wasn't resulting in runs. It was resulting in a lot of left on base. Now we're starting to see guys drive them in, and it's really just kind of coincided with William Contreras getting hot again, too. He's that guy that's been the extra base hit machine for this Brewers team over the past season or two, and because of that, now that he's getting and going again with those extra base hits, you just see it travel around everybody else. Just like I talked about when Christian Yelich started getting hot, how it traveled around everybody else.
Here's Charlie using Sparky Fifer with you. Talking about how much do you believe in this Brewers offense at this point as they put up an unbelievable, ridiculous amount of runs here in the last 3 days against the Nationals, and now you get the Atlanta Braves. We'll have the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook with Tommy Wirtz, the big old hunk of love, coming out here at Wisconsin State Fair. He'll be doing his show live right after mine from 5 until 6 o'clock. Kurt Hogue, Brewers beat writer for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, will join us coming up here at 4:20. Coming up next, we'll talk about Packers Family Night that happened over the weekend, and how much should we actually take away from it? I heard Thunder poo-pooing some of the performances we saw at Family Night, so I'd like to address that. That's coming up next. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM, The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Steve Sparky Fifer with you. Time now for your fan weather forecast. 77 degrees, fair skies right now. Low tonight of 63. Welcome back. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from the Wisconsin State Fair, right here outside the entrance to the Expo building. Steve Sparky, Fifer with you. Charlie Usen producing the show back in the studios. Don't forget, you can stream us live right there on your Odyssey app, AUDACY. Watch us on YouTube. All of our shows are streaming on YouTube. Plus, we have shorts that we put up every day, videos that we put up every day. Check us out, youtube.com. Search The Fan Milwaukee. Again, The Fan Milwaukee. All right, so Family Night happened obviously over the weekend. About 60,000 people in attendance for Family Night was amazing as always. Ed Policy was up in the booth talking with Rock and Wayne Larrivee. That was good, getting to know a little bit more about Ed Policy's thought process and how he kind of looks at the league and looks at the Packers and the community and so forth. I thought they did a great job having Policy in the booth. So hats off to them for a great interview. And then on the field itself, obviously, we're talking about, Jordan Love and how he looked. I'll be honest, I looked all right. I mean, he wasn't anything special necessarily out there. I didn't see anything. I was like, oh, man, look, he really improved in that area from last year to this year. I really didn't see it. And the one thing that we've also really noticed here through training camp so far is the defense has owned this offense. And I saw Daniel Jeremiah, NFL Network, who I respect a lot. I think he's really good. And he just tweeted out this morning. He said, listen, defenses are going to be ahead of offenses in all NFL camps at this point. Like, that's just going to be a thing. So don't be freaking out if your offense is getting owned by your defense right now, because that is something that is a very real thing. So not to get overly concerned there. Love through that pick. He overshot Matthew Golden, who looked like he quit running the route. And Carrington Valentine ended up winning that play and continuing to run through and get that interception. So that was nice. There was a lot of focus on Jordan Morgan, right? The second-year left tackle going up against Lucas Van Ness and what that looked like. There was a lot of talk about one-on-ones. There was a lot of talk about team play and how Morgan was doing. Maybe I'm crazy, Charlie, but I'm not grading Jordan Morgan on how he does against Lucas Van Ness at this point, right? I mean, I'm not going to get my hopes up of, oh, boy, he's the starting left tackle. He can hold Lucas Van Ness down. I mean, he's going to be the guy at left tackle going forward. This is Lucas Van Ness's chance to show that he should be in this competition with Rasheed Walker. This is it. Walker's out with his groin injury, like half the team is. And if Van Ness can put on a little bit of a show here, that would be good for Van Ness. If Jordan Morgan can hold his own, that would be good for Jordan Morgan staying in this competition. So both have something to gain. Neither of whom do I think, I decide to make big proclamations about during the season about what they're going to be based on how they do against each other.
Probably not, but at the same time, because you have such high expectations for both those players going into this season, or high expectations relative to what they've done in the past for this Green Bay Packers team.
I have no expectations for Jordan Morgan other than sitting on the bench watching the first stringers be out there on the football field. I have no expectations he's going to start. None. I think he's going to hold a clipboard. Now, they mentioned, I think it was Stenovich, mentioned the idea that maybe they'll rotate in offensive linemen this year because they're deep enough where maybe we'll rotate Jordan Morgan in at guard, or maybe we'll rotate Jordan Morgan in at tackle. You know what that means? He's not good enough to win this position, but we want to get him some experience and see what it looks like, a series here or a series there in a game. So you start saying that stuff when you're not sold on what you have, and that's where we're at with Jordan Morgan at this point, Charlie.
That's true. But at the same time, I think with Jordan Morgan, any kind of progress that we're seeing right now, and we talked about this with a Lucas Van Ness as well, is that when you start seeing these short signs of them figuring it out, when we saw Lucas Van Ness put his hand in Jordan Morgan's chest and put him in the dirt in that non-padded one-on-one drills, we were excited about Lucas Van Ness then. I feel like if we are watching this family night and you see Jordan Morgan have success, we should be excited about a Jordan Morgan as well, along with any kind of expectations. I know you don't have expectations for him, but he is a first-round pick within the past 2 years. That is something that just naturally comes with expectations, no matter what.
Oh, they have expectations from a coaching staff. Absolutely. They have expectations from a front office. And you're right, I have none. Lucas Van Ness is another character. He's also a guy that's been in the first round, Charlie. He's also a guy that comes with expectations. He's also a guy that hasn't lived up to expectations to this point. And it is all eggs are in the basket of Lucas Van Ness. If he does not work out, they are potentially screwed as far as getting production at that end position. That's a problem. Let's head out to the Nicolay Lau Fan Talking text line. John and Franklin, you're up next. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's out here at the Wisconsin State Fair. What's going on, John?
Hey, what's going on, Spark? I got to get down there and see you. Yeah, I'm trying to maintain this level of enthusiasm, but I'm starting the eye rolls when we start going, and not necessarily you, but going nuts about performances on family night and this and that, and seriously, honestly, man, all I care about right now, and I'm a Packer fan, but apparently I'm not as deep as some others, is the injury report. Okay. That's all I care about, honest to God. And I care how this team looks like when they come out and snap the ball for the first time, when the bullets are flying and they count. Because that's what matters to me, because I don't want another season of excuses. I am so tired of excuses. And the chickens are going to come home to roost either positively or negatively for this Packers team this year. And I think LaFleur knows it. I think the Packers know it, man, because we want to be on the optimistic side, but the performance last year was underwhelming for what we expect from our Packers, and we hope to get back up on top again.
That's the thing too. Thanks for the call. When we stand here and we talk about where we're at with this team and going forward, you have to really consider something more so than anything else. A guy like Sam Shields, right? Where did he bust out, John? He busted out on family night. That's where his coming out party was. And I remember coming down there the next day going, Sam Shields is the guy. Here we go. Here goes Sam Shields. And Gary Ellerson, the rebuttal, settle down. It's just practice. It's family night. Settle down. You're overreacting again. Sam Shields ended up being that guy. Now, I'm not going to say Omar Brown and his 3 interceptions is going to lead to Sam Shields. But we have seen big performances on family night translate into a guy that we didn't know about coming in and being something in the regular season, John.
You can definitely look at what we're doing here with this Packers family night and see that you're putting these guys on a huge stage compared to what all these other teams are doing. And you can take that and say, you know what, that's the Packers trying to allow these guys and give these guys an opportunity to show out. We were talking about this random player that I still don't remember the name of that Mitch was talking about, who balled out at Packers family night where he had an interception on Brett Favre. He said it was a pick six, but he couldn't remember for sure. This player ended up playing for the Cincinnati Bengals for 8 years after that one play with the Packers. And yes, that a night like this is important, maybe not to the fans in the same way that it is to the players, but this is extremely important to the players and the coaching staff who are still trying to find some kind of role in the NFL if they don't have one already.
Let's hear from Omar Brown. He talked after his 3 interception performance on family night. Let's hear what he had to say.
I think just running to the ball, like how I said before, like even when the ball all the way away from us, we just run into the ball and it's don't come to you. I feel like, and that's pretty much what I did, just whether that's being in the post, waiting for the ball to come, just running to the ball. And I feel like it's just gonna come that way. It's just fun being around these guys. I feel like we got a good, like, diverse team, like young team, a little mix of old. I feel like everybody leaders on our team. The vets that been playing, they're like huge, and they support all the young guys. This is my 2nd year. As you see, they all coming up. Just seeing the hard work we all put in practice, all running to the ball. I think that just shows something.
The thing about Omar Brown is he was obviously a practice squad type guy last year, right? This isn't an undrafted free agent where he just got here. Nobody knows who he is. He had some reps last year. He's had a couple reps in games as well. So there is some experience. This isn't like Sam Shields where he's straight out of Miami coming in and then making a name for himself. His coaching staff knows who he is, knows his strengths, knows his weaknesses. He has that performance. Then Xavier McKinney comes on and says, hey, man, we're stacked at safety, man. Like, don't even worry about us. We got a bunch back here. And I think that is good. Now the question just is Evan Williams vulnerable at that other safety position? Is there a real competition at the other safety position? That's what I would like to know kind of going forward here. Because my understanding coming into all of this was this is Evan Williams and Xavier McKinney. Case closed. Like, to my understanding, there was no competition for the other safety position. It's Evan Williams' job, but now Omar Brown does this, and maybe there still isn't a competition. But I think that's something that needs to be asked. And Javon Bullard, where is he going to play if Hobbs is playing well. Valentine with a pick. Keyshawn Nixon is playing well. So Buller's just not going to get a lot of snaps and play a lot? Or are you going to allow him to compete with Evan Williams at that other safety position? That is not, I don't believe that's been asked of anybody at this point, but that needs to be asked whether or not that job is actually open or not right now, Charlie.
I think it's fair to ask it, but also I think we have an answer for the most part. They seem to really love what Evan Williams can do next to Xavier McKinney. We saw that last year, before and after the injury, that they still believe in that player, and they feel like they got a steal for him when they drafted him last year. So I don't think they would really want to give that up. Also, he's a young player who was injured for half the season last year. So that doesn't mean his job is fully safe at all. You have to look through what these other guys can do. But again, as much as a family night is awesome for these players and the coaches and their confidence in building up maybe for a future NFL career, I don't know how much it matters to the position battle right now.
He is Charlie Hughes and Steve Sparky Fifer with you. Coming up, we're going to jump into the latest on Giannis, because yet again, this just cannot die. We just cannot allow him just to be a member of the Milwaukee Bucks. We continue to have dialogue from Shams Charania again today. It's been a couple of weeks since we've heard from Shams Charania on ESPN about Giannis, but here we are again. Shams Charania earlier today saying, hey, man, nothing's been decided. Giannis doesn't know if he wants to play for the Bucks or not. Giannis doesn't know if he wants to be there long term or not. So now we got to address it again on this show for the 5 millionth time. So we'll do that coming up next. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Don't forget, if your kid plays youth sports, take them to Wendy's before or after the game, right? Whether it be a he or a she, whatever. Could be soccer, volleyball, baseball, basketball, hockey, football, any sport. They're wearing their jersey. You go to Wendy's, and they get themselves a free Frosty. How cool is that? And it makes you look good, right? Good bonus points for you, whatever. Hey, I took you to get that Frosty. Now go clean your room, right? You use it as leverage to get them to do things, and it doesn't cost you a penny. Now, I can't go to there myself and not get a Frosty myself, but if you have the willpower, you get them the free Frosty, you take them home, and you let them do something themselves. So, again, available at Wendy's year-round, all year round. Make sure to take care of that. Back with more here from the Wisconsin State Fair right by the Expo building. Come on out, say hi. We'll talk about this report by Shams Charania on Giannis next. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from the Wisconsin State Fair, right by the Expo building. Come on out, say hi. We're looking right at the Milk House, and always fun to have some conversations with people in the breaks about the Brewers, Bucks, Packers, whatever the case may be. Some people are like, man, I didn't know you guys were even on the air. Yeah, man, back on the air doing our thing. Pack-A-Day radio show weekday mornings 8 to 9 with Andy Herman. Mason Crosby show weekday mornings from 9 to 11 with Mitch Thunder Nellis. And then this show from 2 to 5 in the afternoon, plus our 1 hour pregame show leading up to Brewers baseball every day. Tommy Wirtz, a big old hunk of love. He'll be out here at the Wisconsin State Fair today between 5 and 6, getting ready for Brewers and Braves coming up tonight in Atlanta. All right, so Shams Charania once again stirring the pot. Will not let this thing die about Giannis wanting to play Milwaukee or not wanting to play Milwaukee. This was from earlier today on ESPN.
Sources tell me there's still nothing set in stone about whether Giannis Antetokounmpo will stay in Milwaukee or whether he will be leaving. And so he's continuing to evaluate his future. I reported it in mid-May that he's evaluating whether his best fit is in Milwaukee or is it elsewhere. And that process is continuing, Pete. There's been some very real conversations over the last week or so. The constant question that Giannis has, though, is can I win a championship with this roster? Is this roster going to be one for this upcoming year and 2026-27? He wants to win a second championship. So he's asking that question over and over. There are multiple teams waiting in the wings potentially if Giannis this offseason still makes that decision.
Could he have not asked that question in late June, early July before free agency?
This is a very tough decision for him, though. This is 12 years he spent there. There's a lot of equity there. He won a championship there. This type of move isn't going to be easy because this is a Milwaukee Bucks organization. They went out and they stretched and waived Damian Lillard, $113 million. They did that because they wanted to show Giannis, we're doing everything in our power to keep you here. But Giannis Antetokounmpo is the ultimate decider whether he feels this roster is good enough.
I don't understand what is going on here. And my question to you is, after listening to Shams Charania, is quite simple, really. Where do you think he's getting this from, right? Where do you think Shams Charania is getting this information where he is continuously saying Giannis still has not made up his mind about whether or not he wants to play for the Bucks? According to Charania, they had talks last week, a lot of talks last week between Giannis and the Bucks, and still Giannis has not made his decision of what he wants to do. Yet, every Bucks fan you talk to say this is case closed. This dude is just making stuff up at this point. I don't believe Shams Charania is making stuff up. Who do you think is telling Shams Charania this information that he continues to put out there on ESPN over and over and over again? I mean, it's August 4th, and he has been on this all summer long, regardless. Now, again, Giannis was on the one podcast talking about, well, I'll probably go back to Milwaukee. Okay, that's fine. Then Giannis was doing a collectible show, wasn't it, Charlie?
Yeah,
and he was talking about his autograph and how he's done signing his whole name because it just takes too long. He's signing all these autographs, so he shortened his autograph up and so forth. And then somebody yells to Giannis while he's having this conversation. Check this out.
So this autograph, when I got drafted, I was very excited to be in the NBA. Yeah. And I was working on this autograph for like 2-3 years prior to that, right? So I got drafted, I was excited, somebody came by, I was like, hey, can you give me an autograph? I was like, yeah, sure. GA, and then I put the Kumpo, basically. I did it a couple times, maybe I did it the first, I don't know, maybe like 1,000, first 1,000 autographs that I gave away. And then I was like, no, I can't be doing this for the rest of my life. I want to have a long career. I'm going to play like 15, 20 years in the NBA. I can't be doing these autographs. So, all in Milwaukee. So I had to stop.
All right, so him talking about he loves Milwaukee after somebody talks about, him being all in for Milwaukee. So that was good. That was a good sign, I think, from a Bucks fan perspective to see him have that response. Now, again, it's not public necessarily. It gets out there on social media. That's how it was. But it wasn't anything organized at the end of the day. Who do you think is telling Shams Charania the stuff that he's getting about Giannis. Where do you think his source is? Who do you think his source is? Nikolai Lafan talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250, Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. Don't forget, you can also catch us on YouTube. Just search us on YouTube, The Fan Milwaukee. You can use those comments right there in the YouTube stream if you want to communicate with us that way as well. So I put this out earlier today. Charlie, you'll like this one. Several people, maybe even say a bunch of people, think Shams Charania's source is Gary Wolfel. Come on, man. Come on, y'all. Come on, dude. Get out of here with that nonsense. What are you talking about, man? Come on. Y'all got to be smarter than that. No. So that's not what's happening, right? Everybody seemingly does agree on the fact that they don't believe Giannis is the source for Shams Charania. They don't think Giannis is the one talking to Shams and pushing Charania to say what he is saying. Fine. Q on the YouTube chat says, Happy Monday, Spark, and Charlie, good news. De'Aaron Fox deal, he signed a new deal today with the Spurs, means the Spurs can't trade for Giannis until January. It's interesting that Shams keeps bagging on the Giannis future drum. Shams is correct too often to ignore the fact he keeps doubling and tripling down on this. That comes from Q on the YouTube chat, The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube. I tend to agree. I don't think he's going to be just saying stuff just to say stuff, right? There's no chance. This is where I'll put it. I don't think John Horst is talking to Charania. I don't think anybody in the Bucks front office is talking to Charania, because the Bucks get no benefit out of Charania continuing to say that Giannis doesn't know what he wants to do. The Bucks don't benefit at all from that. I'll tell you who I think is the source. I think the source to Shams Charania is Giannis's agency. Those are the dudes that are talking to Shams Charania, I believe, and telling him to continue to push this at the end of the day to say, we don't know if we want to go back yet or not. You know, Giannis really wants to win a second championship, and we're really not sure that they have the roster to do it. And continuing to push this to Charania to put pressure on the Bucks. To me, that is the only person or people that makes sense to push this narrative to Shams Charania about Giannis is Giannis's own agents. That's the only one. The Bucks Twitter account saw this from Shams Charania, and what happened? Giannis, the Bucks go on Twitter, the Bucks specifically, and the Bucks go on Twitter and do the yawning emoji on Twitter, Charlie. Like, big deal.
It's old news.
Like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't care at the end of the day.
They've been saying this the whole time. He has, at least.
That's nice. Giannis has said nothing as far as confirming it publicly with anybody other than a probably. That's all we've gotten so far out of this deal. And that's what has to change at the end of the day. We haven't gotten to that point yet. Sherman and Racine, you're next in the Nikolai Lafan Talking text line. What's up, Sherman?
Hey, Spark, how you doing today?
Good.
Okay, you know what? As I was telling Charlie, Giannis has made it abundantly clear what he wants to do. And, your take on the agent, that probably makes sense, because if they can get it moved, then they can make some more money. I'll go for that. But as far as Giannis, I don't believe Giannis going anywhere. I think Giannis has made it clear he wants to play with one team, just like Kobe did, and he doesn't want to be running around like a vagabond like LeBron from team to team, or James Harden searching for titles. That's not Giannis's personality. And some of these dudes, sometimes when I hear like Shams and the other dude, Chris Broussard, it's like, yeah. It's like, I wonder, have they ever had a conversation with Giannis? Do they understand who he is before they start spewing some of the stuff that they spew?
But Sherman, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. If you're doing their job, right? You're Shams Charania, you're Chris Broussard, and the agents for Giannis are telling you this information, you just ignore them?
No. They can't afford to do that. They got mortgages and stuff to pay. They need that information from them guys, so they got to put it out here.
Right.
It would be extremely uncomfortable for me to do that, but I understand them doing it.
But see, that's the thing at the end of the day. Thanks for the call. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and bag on Shams Charania like all of you like to do on Twitter, because Bucs fans, y'all like to bag on anybody that's considered an insider, right? Anybody that's an insider, Bucs fans hate. They don't believe insiders are a thing. They believe insiders make everything up. Not one of them have ever done it for a job in their entire life, but they like to bag on everybody like they know what they do, and they have no idea. They have no idea how hard it is to do what they do. It is a very, very tough deal. Now, so I'm not going to bag on him because he's getting the information from somewhere. You don't get to his level and his point without having people that you trust as your sources telling you, which way and what direction to go in. Now, we as Bucs fans may feel like he's full of crap. We as Bucs fans may not believe what Charania is saying. My point, though, is it's got to be coming from somewhere, y'all. There's no way he's running with a report and risking his job to do this. The other thing that's been thrown out there on social media to me at Sparky Radio is ESPN's telling them to keep pushing this same narrative to draw clicks, to draw TV ratings, to make things, better for themselves. They don't need to do that, man. You're in full NFL training camp mode right now. This is what ESPN lives for, is NFL. They got to the finish line. Now, you want to say that crap in June and July, waiting to get to that point. Okay, I'll listen. I won't believe you, but I'll listen to you. We're at NFL training camp. We've already had one game. You got more games this week. Everybody has a game this week. The NBA will be a forgotten deal until we get to the NBA, and even in the beginning of the season, it won't be talked about as much. The NFL is king. The NFL is king on local sports talk radio, it's king on national sports talk radio, and it's king on all the talking head programs. So this nonsense about, Shams is just doing it for clicks and to draw ratings makes zero sense from a business perspective for ESPN to continue to try out this narrative unless he's got something real that he is sitting on and waiting on at this point. Now, why are his agents, if that's who the source is, who I believe the source is, why would his agents be pushing this? What are they looking for? Like, they're not going to give him a brand new deal. I mean, that can't be what it is. Are they trying to get a certain player to Milwaukee that they want to be there with Miles Turner and Giannis and so forth, and they're trying to figure out a way to get him there? Like, I don't see what the benefit is right now of the agents pushing this unless they're trying to get something done and the Bucs are being hesitant and not wanting to do it, Charlie.
I'm not really sure either. When I look at ESPN's side of this, I think it probably is actually pretty valuable for them to keep pushing this story. If you think about the amount of clicks it gets just on social media, just this clip, how many times it's been reclipped and shared on social media, they're getting all of that tenure from that, all of that extra noise from that. Right now I'm watching ESPN on our TVs, and on NBA Today they're talking about the WNBA. It's not that it's like the NBA is what they think is carrying. It's this specific story that they keep putting out on all these shows. Luka Doncic just signed an extension with the Los Angeles Lakers, which was a pretty big deal. It also should be a pretty big story because a lot of people should be talking about if he deserved more money. He would have gotten a lot bigger of an extension with the Dallas Mavericks if he had stayed there, and the Lakers easily gave him that. That's a huge story that the national media should be talking about and should be discussing the kind of two different sides of that, and not whether or not Giannis is looking at other teams or other teams are looking at Giannis. We've had this story for the past 2 months. It's old news at this point. I get it. You just want to get the updates. But in both these cases with the two different ESPN clips that he talked about Giannis today, it was brought on by the host going, all right, let's stop talking about anything else and what's happening with Giannis. They brought it up. I think this very much looks like ESPN doing that.
Okay, well, first of all, hold on. The host, that's scripted, right? I mean, they're told what to ask the insider, whether it be
ESPN.
Fox Sports or ESPN or CBS. Anytime you go on a show, even MLB Network, right? If you have John Heyman on or Morosi or whoever, listen, these guys tell the producers what they have, what they want to talk about. Then the hosts are told, okay, these are the three questions for John Heyman, or these are the three questions for John Morosi. So those hosts are told what to ask Shams Charania. Charania tells them, hey, I got something on Giannis I want to go with. Please ask me about Giannis. Sounds good. So they ask him about Giannis. I'm not putting the hosts out on an island and going, oh, they're trying to stir crap up. They're being told to ask Charania because he's the one telling them that he has the information at the end of the day, Charlie.
I get that, but also, again, this is not really new information from Shams Charania that we're hearing right now. This is him going, hey, either if it's the case that you're talking about where it's him telling the host what he wants to talk about or the network telling the host what they want to talk about, either way, they're pushing an old narrative that just doesn't really make sense to push at this point. Now wait a
second. In their mind, the narrative's not closed because Giannis still has not come out publicly and said, I'm staying, which I told you before on that Speed whatever podcast that was, that he just said, I'll probably go back to Milwaukee. I like Milwaukee. Probably. What? I didn't close anything up, right? That didn't shut anything down. Nothing at all. And this card collectible thing, which is great, that's fine, and he's randomly talking to a fan at a card collectible show, that's good too, and I quote tweeted, I'm like, okay, this is good, that's positive. But as far as if you're asking them to stop their narrative, then he has to go out and say publicly, listen, Shams and everybody else can stop talking about this. I'm coming back to Milwaukee. I'm a Buck here in 25-26, and that's it. Case closed. Stop talking about me. Have that. Say that, and this is done. He would have said that 2 months ago. This would have been done 2 months ago. He would have said it a month ago. It would have been done a month ago. But he refuses to go publicly and commit to it. And therefore, we have Sharania, who I believe, again, his sources are Giannis's agent, pushing this narrative of, well, Giannis and the Bucks talked all last week, and they've been going back and forth. But Giannis continues to bring up, is this team good enough to win a second championship, and wanting that question answered. So, again, he controls this as much as anybody to end it whenever he wants. And for whatever the reason, he's not doing it. And part of the reason I don't think he's doing it is, again, I'll go back to his agents. They're trying to get something done here, and I don't know what that is. But something is trying to be accomplished by them on the backside to get something done. And the Bucks must be balking or whatever the case may be, and that's why this isn't going away. You heard, who was it? It was Fagan, right, on the Summer League game? Do we have that? I don't know if we have that or not. Peter Fagan on the Summer League game, during the NBA Summer League, Peter Fagan was talking about, oh, he loves Milwaukee, we love him, we laugh kind of when everybody talks about us and Giannis having issues and we're all good, all of that. You have that clip?
I do have it.
All right, here we go.
We laugh internally. It's where we've been for 10 years. Giannis loves Milwaukee. Milwaukee loves Giannis. We're in a good place. We feel great about it. It's business as usual. I think we get kind of a fun little joy in everybody else thinking they know what's going on and kind of and what the clickbait is. But, for us, we're in a good spot. Giannis is in a good place. He's enjoying the summer. And we're looking forward to next season.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And that's the one thing that I really want to see here. Because if I'm the Bucks, and I've said this before, if this is Giannis's agents pushing this, then they should be mad. Then they should be pushing on his agents to shut up and end this one way or the other. If that's where you believe it's coming from, and I don't know who else could be feeding them, if that's where you believe it's coming from, then you got to have a backbone, stand up and tell these dudes, back down and tell him this thing is over. We went on TV, said our part, said we believe we're good. Giannis hasn't done it, but they have to now take the bull by the horns and get aggressive with Giannis' agents and tell them, look, listen, knock this crap off and end this. That's why, again, listen, I don't think he's leaving, but this whole rigmarole show that we've been going through for 3 months, then did you see, you brought up earlier about the Lakers and Luka. Did you see the story on that? So now the way this sets up with Luka's contract and how it sets up with Giannis and Joker, they're both now in play to go to the Lakers after 2 years when they both have player options to head off and go play for the Lakers. So get ready. This story is not going to go away as far as everybody trying to get Giannis out of Milwaukee to go somewhere else at the end of the day. Charlie using over there, see Sparky Fifer here. You should be at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, 2 levels. It is a beautiful thing. That second level, you can run from personal parties, business meetings, luncheons, the whole deal. And we just found out last week they're doing something new this year. They're offering fantasy football draft parties at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Go to Potawatomi.com/sportsbook. You go on there, and you have your choice of where you want to do it. You can do it on the second level, your own private elevator, so there's not other people coming up. They give you a podium to announce your draft picks, give you a draft board, the stickers, all of that stuff. They give you a smorgasbord of food. Everybody gets 3 drinks per person in the league, up to 14 teams in the league. That's as big of a league as they're going to take. So 14 or less, and you can host your draft party right there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Go check it out today at Potawatomi.com/sportsbook. Sportsbook. Coming up on the other side of a quick timeout here at the top of the hour at 3 o'clock. This Brewers team is rolling along. They are the best team in baseball. They are the number 1 seed in the National League. How big of a deal do you think it is to have that 1 seed going into the postseason when you're talking about Major League Baseball? We have this conversation all the time when it comes to basketball. Let's talk about it with baseball. Straight ahead here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan studios from the Wisconsin State Fair by the Expo Building.